the new media was going after the crooked old media, and they did a great job, and they took out the old media, and now it's like it seems like the political, right is now kind of has the momentum, and that's when the trolls come in. Because if you're going to be a troll, you want to go where the most people are, and that's where you can cause the problems. So it feels like the trolls are now like latching on to the right side, and then they do the same thing. They're doing the same things that the Democrats used to do, which is like they play on the goodwill of people. Like they're like they take the extreme opinion, and then they're like, well, you just need to compromise with me, and then you end up like in the middle. It's like, no, your opinion is crazy. Or like they say, well, no, I wasn't really saying that. I was saying like this other. So it seems to me, and then like the people that got famous for taking out the old media, somehow don't want to argue against the people that because they say they're in the same tent or something like that. But the people are totally They're totally trolling, right? So these people are like I don't see why. You don't owe anything to the trolls. Like if they're trolls, they're just going to suck up your own goodwill. They're going to use your good name to do their trolling, and you don't owe them that. Like I don't get it. I don't like. It's like no. So that's where I feel like the situation is politically over here in the United States. So
yeah.
I mean, I kind of feel like you at the very least should be arguing against the trolls' position. And at some point, you have to identify and say, "Hey, wait a second. This guy's a troll." So if someone's a troll, then you don't have then what you do is you could still debate them, but if you're like a hardcore political debater, like you're a hard thinker or whatever, then you don't debate the troll to try to convince the troll because they're a troll. You need to recognize they're a troll and then debate them with the objective of arguing their points from a rational standpoint to the viewers, to the audience. It's not about convincing the troll. Once you've identified that they're a troll, right? So you could still you could argue with the troll, but you're not going to convince the troll to stop doing troll ideas because they're not looking from the standpoint of finding the truth of the situation. They're just trolling for clicks, for crying out. I mean, I don't know. That's what I feel like. So anyway, that's what the rant's on today. You ever notice how some people in our own party have started borrowing tactics straight out of the leftist playbooks? Yeah, suddenly we can't argue anymore. It's like, shh, don't call out the obvious trolls. Don't criticize the guy lighting the tent on fire because you're not allowed to like shoot within the tent, even though the guy over there is lighting the tent on fire, and the people telling you can't shoot with inside the tent seem like they're spreading like shotgun fire inside the tent, aiming at the highest, people that were in the. So, and this is all rhetorical, by the way. I know I have to, if there's any of the far leftist people, you got to point that out. Otherwise, they actually start beating people up or something. But the point is, they're like, he's got a big Twitter following. You can't criticize someone with a big Twitter following. And it's like, please spare me. I love this. We can't attack our own, quote, our own. And it's like, dude, I'm not looking for our own. I don't even know what that means. I'm watching the thing to follow people that are trying to say things that are true, right? I'm trying to follow the truth. So I'm sure a crowd will congregate around the truth, whoever says it, if you have an open market and free ideas. That's kind of the underlying principle, I would think. But the guy welching fame off the goodwill of the movement, he's not searching for truth. If he were, he'd welcome a fair debate, right? That's the point. Like, so if you've got someone who's saying, I don't care if it's the mainstream media or the new media or whoever it is, if they're like, I'm not going to debate this or that, or I'm not going to try to steel man my arguments, or I'm going to say an argument and then back off the argument all the time, then I don't think they're just looking for clicks, right? They're not looking for an actual like argument anymore. So instead, he's the dude who sneaks into the camp, eats your snacks, and then fires a rhetorical shotgun randomly in the tent, like Yosemite Sam, all while whining that people are attacking him personally, right? He's out there personally attacking everybody around, and then he's like, don't shoot inside the tent. Don't shoot inside the tent. It's like he's over there like, bang, look at me. Bang, pay attention. Bang, I swear this chaos is leadership. And then you say something when you go, hey, maybe stop shooting holes inside the tent, while proclaiming that the other people are the ones shooting the holes inside the tent and so on. They clutch their pearls like a Victorian auntie and hiss, how dare you mount what do you call that thing? What do you call that thing again? It's an argument. An argument. You mount an argument. You used to be good at it when you were doing it against the mainstream media. You argue the thing, that thing conservatives used to be good at before half the movement became allergic to syllogisms. But apparently you can't argue with a guy who has a big Twitter following. No, he's famous. He's famous. He's influential. He has 15 million followers in a dopamine addiction. Oh, you can't criticize him. He's more famous than you peon. And it's like, dude, where have I heard this logic before? I feel like I've seen this logic for quite some time, and it's like, oh right, the left used to say that, right? Shut up, he's powerful. Shut up, he's a Hollywood actor. You have to listen to his political ideas. Shut up, he is science incarnate. He's science incarnate. Who are you to argue with science incarnate? And it's like, no, it's the same brain dead reasoning dressed up in red instead of blue. Here's the truth, power corrupts. Truth is the antidote. If you're an influencer on the right, you probably gained that influence by telling the truth against, because you didn't have the political capital to like have a monopoly media at that time. And the moment you stop following the truth, the moment you trade integrity for engagement, then you don't have legitimate power anymore. You just have followers. And there's a big difference. So I get that the engagement is toxicating. And, so you kind of think that the engagement itself is the power. The followers are the power. But no, the truth resulted in the followers. And once you lose that edge, then I don't think it's going to work out unless there's some kind of political monopoly that takes place once again. Because without truth, you're not a leader. You're just another corrupt attention seeker firing rhetorical buckshot at your own team while projecting that they're the ones firing unfair personal attacks at you. And they're the ones attacking. So criticizing political arguments is the job of a political commentator. I get if you're like a Joe Rogan or something and you're like, I just sit down with people and I just let people see what they think and whatnot. I'm not really out to push a political idea. I don't really have any, I'm not like trying to take a stance on any particular thing. But if you are a political commentator and your job is to critique political ideas, then you kind of have to do that. You got to put what influential people say on screen and probe the logic. That's how you got famous. Like that's what you do. So you can do it. You can do it with charm. You can do it politely. But at least in theory, you can do it politely, although it is politics. But that's the job. It's the whole job. And pretending otherwise isn't courage. It's cowardice wearing influencer merch, man. That's what I'm thinking. So anyways, I feel like, once you get a bunch of followers, I totally kind of get it. Like you're like, dude, and then you start seeing everything as like, this is a big influencer, that's a big influencer. So now I'm looking at things from a totally different lens. I kind of feel like that's what's happening here. Because you're just like, well, if I team up with all the big influencers, then we have all the power. And it's like, well, no, you lost you lost the thread there that you're supposed to